The Ghost Signal. The First Disappearance. Captain Elena Vasquez stared at the empty space where cargo hauler Phoenix should have been. The massive transport ship, carrying vital supplies to the Mars colonies, had vanished without sending a distress signal. Elena had commanded the patrol cruiser Defiant for 12 years, but she had never seen anything like this. "Captain, we're picking up debris," reported Lieutenant Torres from the sensor station. His young face looked pale under the bridge's blue lighting. Metal fragments scattered across a 3-kilometer radius. No life signs. Elena walked to the main display screen. The debris field showed twisted pieces of hull plating and cargo containers, all floating in the cold darkness of space. What bothered her most was the complete silence. Ships didn't just explode without warning, especially not military-grade cargo haulers with advanced communication systems. Any sign of weapon discharge? She asked Commander Jin Park, her tactical officer. Jin was a quiet man from Earth's Korean sector, known for his sharp analytical mind and calm demeanor under pressure. "That's what's strange, Captain," Jin replied, studying his readings. "No energy signatures, no plasma burns on the debris. No radiation patterns that would indicate missile or laser impacts. It's as if the ship just came apart from the inside." Elena frowned. The Phoenix had been carrying medical supplies, food rations, and construction materials. Nothing dangerous enough to cause an internal explosion. She had served during the Centauri border wars and knew what different weapons could do to a ship. This looked like nothing she had seen before. "Set course for the last known position," she ordered. "Maybe we missed something." As the Defiant moved through the debris field, Elena's mind raced through possibilities. Pirates usually left some trace, and they certainly didn't destroy cargo they could sell. The Zephyrian Empire had signed a peace treaty 5 years ago, ending decades of conflict with humanity. Besides, Zephyrian weapons left distinctive purple energy burns on their targets. The pattern emerges. Over the next 2 weeks, 3 more cargo ships disappeared. Each time, the pattern was identical. Ships would be traveling their normal routes, maintaining regular communication with traffic control, when suddenly their signals would stop. Search teams would find debris fields with no signs of conventional weapons use. Elena found herself assigned to a special task force investigating the disappearances. The conference room at Orbital Station Delta buzzed with worried conversations as representatives from various human colonies gathered around a large holographic display showing the known shipping routes. Admiral Sarah Martinez, a veteran of 3 interstellar conflicts, addressed the assembled group. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her weathered face showed the strain of recent events. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're facing something unprecedented," she began. 12 civilian vessels and 2 military escorts have vanished in the past month. That's over 15,000 people, gone without a trace. Elena studied the holographic map showing the attack locations. "Admiral, there's definitely a pattern here. All attacks occurred along major shipping lanes, but in areas with minimal traffic monitoring. Someone is choosing these locations very carefully." Dr. Sarah Chen, the task force's chief scientist, stepped forward. She was a brilliant quantum physicist who had developed many of humanity's most advanced sensor technologies. Her small frame and quiet voice often made people underestimate her, but Elena knew better. "I've analyzed the debris from all attack sites," Dr. Chen reported. "The molecular structure of the destroyed materials shows signs of quantum disruption. The ships weren't blown up in the traditional sense. They were destabilized at the subatomic level." A murmur of concern rippled through the room. Quantum disruption technology was theoretical at best. No known species had successfully weaponized it. "Could this be a new Zephyrian weapon?" asked Captain Rodriguez from the heavy cruiser Thunderbolt. "Negative," Jin replied from his seat near Elena. "I've reviewed all intelligence reports on Zephyrian technology. They're advanced, but their weapons still rely on conventional energy discharge methods. This is something else entirely." Admiral Martinez activated a new section of the holographic display. Which brings us to our most disturbing discovery. 3 hours ago, long-range sensors detected an anomaly near the Jupiter freight corridor. Something is there, but our scanners can't get a solid lock on it. Elena leaned forward. Cloaking technology. More advanced than any cloaking system we know about, Dr. Chen answered. It's not just hiding from visual detection. It's somehow masking its quantum signature, making it nearly invisible to all our sensors. The first contact. Elena volunteered to lead the investigation mission to Jupiter's freight corridor. The Defiant was equipped with the most advanced sensor array in the human fleet, and her crew had experience with unusual phenomena from their exploration missions. As they approached the coordinates where the anomaly had been detected, Elena felt a familiar tension in the air. Her crew was alert but nervous. They all knew they might be flying toward whatever had been destroying ships throughout human space. Approaching target coordinates, reported Lieutenant Torres. I'm getting intermittent readings on the quantum sensors. Something big is out there, but it keeps fading in and out of detection. Elena moved to the sensor station to see for herself. The readings were unlike anything in their databases. Whatever was hiding in the darkness near Jupiter was using technology far beyond current human capabilities. Captain, Jin called from the tactical station. I'm reading a massive quantum field disturbance directly ahead. Distance approximately 5,000 kilometers. Before Elena could respond, the ship's emergency alarms began blaring. The main screen flickered and displayed a sight that made everyone freeze in shock. A ship was materializing out of empty space. It was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the Defiant. Its hull was a perfect black surface that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The design was unlike anything human engineers had ever created, with flowing curves and crystalline structures that hurt to look at directly. Red alert, Elena commanded, keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. All hands to battle stations, raise shields and power weapons. The mysterious ship remained motionless, as if studying them. For several tense minutes, neither vessel moved. Elena could hear her crew breathing heavily as they waited for orders. Captain, Dr. Chen called from the science station. I'm detecting massive quantum field fluctuations from that ship. The energy readings are off the charts. Are they charging weapons? Elena asked. I can't tell. Their technology is so advanced that our sensors can barely interpret the data. Elena made a decision that would haunt her for years to come. Open a communication channel. All frequencies. Channel open. Captain. Unknown vessel. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Earth Defense Force ship Defiant. Please identify yourself and state your intentions. For long moments, only static filled the communication channel. Then, slowly, a response came through. The voice was mechanical, lacking any emotion or warmth. Humans, you have been evaluated. Your species shows promise, but your current development is insufficient. You will be improved. Elena felt a chill run through her body. What do you mean by improved? Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are crude. Your society is fragmented. We will correct these deficiencies. Jin stepped closer to Elena and whispered, Captain, their quantum field is intensifying. I think they're preparing to attack. Elena raised her voice. We don't want any trouble. If you're responsible for the missing ships, we can discuss terms for their return. The ships served their purpose. We required samples of your technology and biology. Both have been obtained. The horrifying implication hit Elena like a physical blow. The missing 15,000 people weren't just casualties. They had been taken for study, like specimens in a laboratory. You murdered innocent civilians, Elena said, anger creeping into her voice. Murder is an inefficient concept. Those specimens provided valuable data about human capabilities. Their sacrifice serves the greater purpose of species improvement. Elena had heard enough. Jin, target their main hull. All weapons, maximum power. Targeting systems locked, Captain. Firing. The Defiant's plasma cannons and photon torpedoes struck the alien ship directly. For a moment, Alina hoped their weapons had some effect. Then her hopes crumbled as she watched their most powerful attacks simply disappear into the ship's black hull without causing any visible damage. The alien ship's response was swift and terrifying. A pulse of invisible energy washed over the Defiant, and Alina watched in horror as sections of their hull began to dissolve. Not explode or melt, but simply cease to exist at the molecular level. Hull breach on decks 7 through 10. Torres reported, his voice tight with panic. We're losing structural integrity. Emergency power to shields, Alina ordered. All crew to emergency stations. But their shields were useless against the quantum disruption field. Another pulse from the alien ship, and more sections of the Defiant began disappearing into nothingness. Alina realized they were about to join the other missing ships. In desperation, she grabbed the communication microphone. Emergency transmission to all human colonies. Unknown hostile ships using quantum disruption weapons are attacking civilian and military targets. They are responsible for recent disappearances. Technology far exceeds our current capabilities. Recommend immediate evacuation of all frontier settlements and preparation of defensive measures. As Alina finished her warning, the alien ship fired again. This time, the quantum pulse engulfed the entire Defiant. Alina felt a strange tingling sensation as reality seemed to shift around her. Then everything went black. When she woke up, Alina found herself in what could only be described as a perfect white room. She was lying on a surface that felt solid but looked like crystallized light. Her uniform was gone, replaced by a simple gray garment that fit perfectly despite being unlike any human clothing. A figure stood nearby, watching her with eyes that held intelligence but no trace of emotion. It was humanoid in basic shape but clearly not human. Its skin had a metallic sheen, and its features were too perfect, as if designed by a computer rather than evolved naturally. Captain Alina Vasquez. The figure spoke with the same mechanical voice she had heard on the ship. You are now a specimen in our improvement program. Your species has potential, but requires guidance. We are the architects. We have uplifted 17 species across this galaxy. Humanity will be the 18th. Alina struggled to stand, her mind racing to understand her situation. Where are my crew? Where are the people from the other ships? Safe. Undergoing evaluation. Those who show exceptional potential will be enhanced. The others will serve as data points for our analysis of human capabilities. You can't just decide to improve an entire species, Alina protested. We have the right to determine our own future. The architect tilted its head slightly, as if considering her words. Rights are a concept created by primitive societies to maintain order. We transcend such limitations. We seek only to guide evolution toward perfection. Alina looked around the featureless room, searching for any means of escape. What happened to your species? Did someone improve you too? For the first time, she detected what might have been emotion in the architect's voice. We were the first. We achieved perfection through technology, transcending the limitations of biological existence. Now we share this gift with others. By force. By necessity. Most species resist improvement initially, but they learn to appreciate the benefits. Alina thought about her crew, about the thousands of missing people, about humanity's future hanging in the balance. She had to find a way to escape and warn Earth about what was coming. The architects clearly had technology that could destroy human civilization without breaking a sweat. But as she looked at her captor, Alina noticed something that gave her hope. For all their technological advancement, the architects seemed to lack something essentially human. They analyzed and categorized everything, but they didn't truly understand the creative chaos that made humanity dangerous when cornered. They had made the mistake of trying to improve a species that improved itself, and Alina Vasquez was about to show them exactly why that was a mistake. The human response. The warning spreads. Alina's emergency transmission reached Earth Command just as the first architect ships appeared in human space. Admiral Martinez received the message while reviewing defensive preparations at Luna Base. humanity's largest military installation orbiting Earth's moon. "Play it again," she ordered her communications officer. Alina's voice filled the command center, describing the quantum disruption weapons and the alien ships that could phase in and out of visibility. As the message ended, Martinez felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Humanity faced extinction from an enemy with technology centuries beyond their own. "Send immediate alerts to all colonies," she commanded. "Full military mobilization. Recall all exploration fleets and merchant vessels to defended systems." Captain Rodriguez entered the command center, his face grim. "Admiral, we're receiving reports of attacks on the Titan mining stations. 7 installations have gone dark in the past hour." Martinez studied the tactical display showing human space. Red dots marked confirmed attack sites, while yellow indicators showed colonies that had lost communication. The pattern was clear. The architects were systematically dismantling humanity's infrastructure. "They're not trying to conquer us," she realized aloud. "They're harvesting us." Dr. Chen burst into the command center, carrying a data pad filled with sensor readings. "Admiral, I've analyzed Captain Vasquez's transmission and correlated it with our own sensor data from the attacks. I think I know how their cloaking technology works." Martinez turned to the scientist. "Explain." "They're not actually invisible," Dr. Chen said, pulling up holographic displays of quantum field equations. "They're shifting their quantum signature to exist slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. Our sensors can't detect them because they're technically not in our dimension." "Can we build weapons to counter this?" Rodriguez asked. "Not weapons," Dr. Chen replied, "but possibly detection systems. If we can create quantum resonance scanners, we might be able to track them even when they're phased." Martinez felt a spark of hope. How long would it take? With unlimited resources and the best engineers from every colony. Maybe 3 weeks. "We don't have 3 weeks," Martinez said as another red dot appeared on the tactical display. "Make it 1 week." The unexpected alliance. As humanity scrambled to develop countermeasures, an unexpected message arrived from the Zephyrian Empire. Ambassador Zethkar, a reptilian being with golden scales and intelligent purple eyes, appeared on the main communication screen at Luna Base. "Admiral Martinez," Zethkar said in his precise, accented English, "we have detected the same quantum signatures in our space. 3 of our research stations have been attacked." Martinez was surprised. The Zephyrians had been humanity's enemies for decades before the recent peace treaty. Their technology was more advanced than human systems, but they had also been unable to stop the architect attacks. "Ambassador, are you proposing an alliance?" "I am proposing survival," Zethkar replied. "These architects view all species as inferior. They will not distinguish between human and Zephyrian when they decide to harvest our worlds." Martinez made a decision that would have been unthinkable a month earlier. "What do you have in mind?" "Our scientists have been studying the quantum signatures from the attacks. Combined with your Dr. Chen's research, we might be able to develop effective countermeasures." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Admiral, the Zephyrians have quantum field generators that are more advanced than ours. If we could integrate their technology with our detection theories." "Do it," Martinez ordered. "Ambassador, I'm authorizing full technological exchange for the duration of this crisis." The breakthrough. Working together, human and Zephyrian scientists achieved in days what might have taken months alone. Dr. Chen and her Zephyrian counterpart, Dr. Vast, discovered that the architect's phase-shifting ability had a critical weakness. They can't maintain phase shift while using their quantum disruption weapons, Dr. Chen explained to the Joint Command meeting. "For approximately 2.3 seconds during each attack, they become fully visible to our sensors." Dr. Vest, a tall Zephyrian with silver scales and 3 arms, continued the explanation. "We have developed targeting computers that can lock onto ships during these brief visibility windows. Combined with new quantum resonance-guided missiles, we might be able to penetrate their defenses." Admiral Martinez studied the technical specifications. How many ships can we retrofit with this technology? 47 human vessels and 32 Zephyrian ships, reported Captain Rodriguez. It's not much against an enemy with potentially hundreds of ships. It's what we have, Martins replied. Sometimes David only gets one stone. Alina's escape. While the combined fleets prepared for battle, Alina had been planning her escape from the Architect facility. During her weeks of captivity, she had observed the routines of her captors and identified weaknesses in their security systems. The Architects were logical to a fault. They assumed their prisoners would behave rationally, following predictable patterns based on their analysis of human psychology. But Alina had learned something during her military career that the Architects couldn't understand. Sometimes the most irrational action is the most effective. During what appeared to be a routine medical examination, Alina acted. Instead of cooperating as she had for weeks, she suddenly attacked the Architect conducting the tests. The artificial being was stronger than any human, but it wasn't prepared for Alina's desperate ferocity. She managed to grab a small device that looked like a crystalline cube. It was some kind of access key, used by the Architects to move between different sections of their facility. Alina didn't fully understand how it worked, but she had observed its use enough times to make an educated guess. Racing through corridors that seemed to shift and change around her, Alina followed mental maps she had constructed during her captivity. The facility was vast, holding thousands of human prisoners in various stages of the Architect's improvement process. She found her crew in a section that looked like a cross between a laboratory and a prison. Lieutenant Torres, Commander Park, and the others were unconscious, connected to machines that monitored their biological functions. "Jin, wake up," Alina whispered, shaking her tactical officer gently. Park's eyes opened slowly, confusion giving way to recognition. "Captain, how did you escape?" "No time to explain. Help me wake the others. We need to get out of here." As her crew members regained consciousness, Alina explained what she had learned about the Architects and their plans for humanity. The artificial beings saw themselves as gardeners, cultivating primitive species into something more perfect. But their version of perfection eliminated everything that made a species unique. "There's a communication array in the central hub," Alina told her crew. "If we can reach it, we might be able to contact the human fleet and provide tactical information about this facility." Commander Park checked his equipment, finding only basic tools and improvised weapons. "Captain, we're outgunned and outnumbered. Even if we reach the communication array, how do we escape?" Alina smiled grimly. "We don't. We make sure our sacrifice means something." The final battle. The combined human Zephyrian fleet met the Architect Armada near the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Admiral Martinez commanded from the flagship Retribution, while Ambassador Zethkar coordinated Zephyrian forces from the battle cruiser Vengeance scale. The Architect fleet was massive, over 200 ships of various sizes. Their vessels moved with perfect coordination, like pieces of a single organism. As they approached, human sensors detected massive quantum field buildups. "All ships, this is Admiral Martinez." She broadcast to the combined fleet. "Remember, we only get one chance at this. Wait for my signal." The Architects opened fire first, their quantum disruption weapons reaching across space to tear apart the leading human vessels. Alina's ship, the Defiant, was among the first casualties, its hull dissolving into component atoms. But as the Architect ships fired, they became visible to the new quantum resonance scanners for exactly 2.3 seconds. Dr. Chen's calculations proved accurate. "Now," Martinez shouted. The human and Zephyrian fleets fired simultaneously, their quantum-guided missiles locking onto the briefly visible Architect ships. For the first time in the conflict, human weapons found their targets. Architect vessels began exploding in brilliant flashes of released energy. Their perfect coordination faltered as they faced an enemy that could actually hurt them. But the victory was short-lived. The Architects adapted quickly, modifying their attack patterns to minimize exposure time. More human ships fell to the quantum disruption weapons. Just as the battle seemed lost, Elena's voice crackled over the communication channels from somewhere deep in Architect space. All human vessels, this is Captain Vasquez. I'm transmitting the location and defensive frequencies of the main Architect facility. They're using quantum field generators to maintain their fleet's phase-shifting ability. If you can destroy the facility, their ships will become vulnerable. Elena's transmission included detailed technical specifications and tactical information that only someone inside the facility could have obtained. Admiral Martinez realized what Elena was planning. "Captain, what's your status?" Elena's voice was filled with determination and sadness. "We're initiating a cascade failure in the facility's quantum generators. It should disrupt their entire fleet for approximately 10 minutes. Use that time well, Admiral." "Elena, is there any way to extract you and your crew?" "Negative. The cascade failure requires manual initiation from inside the quantum core. There's no way to survive the process." Martinez felt tears in her eyes as she gave the order. "All ships, prepare for maximum offensive. Captain Vasquez, it has been an honor serving with you." "The honor was mine, Admiral. Tell Earth that we chose our own destiny." The Architect's revelation. As Elena and her crew sacrificed themselves to cripple the Architect facility, something unexpected happened. The quantum cascade failure didn't just disrupt the fleet's cloaking systems. It also damaged the mental conditioning that had turned the original Architect species into emotionless perfection seekers. For the first time in millennia, the Architects remembered what they had lost in their pursuit of improvement. They remembered love, creativity, curiosity, and the beautiful chaos of biological existence. The surviving Architect ships stopped fighting and began broadcasting on all frequencies. "Human vessels, we surrender. We remember now what we forgot. We remember why improvement through force is not improvement at all." Admiral Martinez ordered a ceasefire, though she kept weapons ready. "Architect vessels, explain your change in behavior." The lead Architect ship responded with a voice that sounded more emotional than mechanical. "Captain Vasquez's sacrifice created a quantum resonance that restored our original consciousness. We see now that our pursuit of perfection made us imperfect. We became destroyers instead of creators. What about the people you've taken? The thousands of humans you kidnapped? They will be returned unharmed. We will also share our technology freely, as compensation for our crimes against your species. But we ask for something in return." "What?" "Teach us to be imperfect again. Help us remember how to be truly alive." The New Alliance. 6 months after the battle, Elena Vasquez was posthumously awarded humanity's highest honor for valor. Her sacrifice had not only saved the human race, but had also redeemed an entire species that had lost its way in the pursuit of technological perfection. The Architects, now calling themselves the Restored, worked alongside humans and Zephyrians to repair the damage they had caused. Their advanced technology, combined with human creativity and ingenuity, led to unprecedented advances in science and medicine. Dr. Chen established the Vasquez Institute for Quantum Research, where humans and Restored worked together to explore the mysteries of the universe. Commander Park, promoted to captain after his rescue from the Architect facility, led joint exploration missions to distant galaxies. Admiral Martinez, now head of the Interspecies Defense Alliance, often visited the memorial station built where Elena had made her final sacrifice. The inscription read, "Captain Elena Vasquez and the crew of the Defiant chose their own destiny, and in doing so, chose the destiny of all free beings in the galaxy." The Restored leader, who had taken the name Hope in honor of what humanity had taught them, visited the memorial regularly as well. "Do you think she knew?" Hope asked Martinez during one visit. "Do you think Captain Vasquez knew that her sacrifice would change us?" Martinez smiled sadly. Elena always believed that the best in people comes out when they face the worst circumstances. She probably hoped her actions would make a difference, but I don't think she could have imagined changing an entire species. "She taught us that true improvement comes from choice, not force," Hope replied. That imperfection and struggle are what make life beautiful. As they stood in silence, looking out at the stars, Martinez thought about Alina's final words. Humans had indeed chosen their own destiny, and in doing so, they had proven that the greatest strength wasn't in perfect technology or overwhelming force, but in the willingness to sacrifice for others and the courage to remain true to what made them human. The galaxy was now a place where former enemies worked together, where artificial beings learned to feel again, and where humanity's greatest weakness, their stubborn refusal to accept improvement from others, had become their greatest strength. Alina Vasquez had shown the universe that humanity, ****, yeah, would always choose their own path, no matter the cost.